Hi, this is a fast review of the Adobe Animate interface. What you're looking at right here is the welcome screen. And here you have open recent items, and it'll list everything you've done recently or create new. And if you're going to create new, most of the time you'd be just doing ActionScript 3.0. That just brings you to the kind of generic default window you want to be at. If you don't like this screen, you can come down here to Don't Show Again and click this, and it'll give you this warning telling you that if you want to change it back to the way it was, it gives you instructions on how to do it. Fairly recently, all animation on the web was done using Flash. What Flash did was create what was called an SWF file, which would be embedded in very simple HTML. The SWF file was a self-contained file, and it had disadvantages, one being for search engines not being able to penetrate it like it can regular code, and the second one was security. So now we have, as of probably like 2 years now, we have the web standard moving up to HTML5. And HTML5 within the code has JavaScript, and JavaScript will support any animation that Flash would support, and that will be without the use of a plugin. You were always needing to update plugins with Flash. Animate is Flash, but it has the ability to publish in HTML5 as well as in the traditional SWF format. So the first thing I'm going to look at here is the Properties panel, which is very important. If you want to change, this is called the stage. If you want to change the size of this is your workspace right here. You'd come over here and you have a scrubber, which is, you can do either width or you can do height. Or you can actually go right in and type it. And when you see you go in and type it, this becomes visible, scale content, if you want to scale something so it's proportional. Always be referring to the Properties panel, because what it'll do is it will relate to whatever you have selected on the stage. You can also, by going up to Modify, pull down, going to Document, and basically pretty much getting the same type of controls that you just had there for the stage size, width, height. Plus you have these anchors, and what these will do is you have a point that you could consider, maybe say you had an animation, there's a point on the animation that's an anchor point. Maybe it's in the center. So what this does is it's going to position on the stage that animation depending on where the anchor point is. So it could be down here in the lower right, could be right now it's up in the upper left or in the center. Two more things you see here, or you see in the Properties panel, are the color, the background color. So right here you have a picker. Over here you have custom color, or the hexadecimal if you want to type those in. And also you have the frame rate, which is very important. It's how many frames per second. Like a cartoon, how many pictures for that arm to go from top, waving above the head to maybe shoulder height or something. The more frames, the better the animation's going to be. Up here you see the tab, and now what I have now is untitled, but you can work with more than one document at a time. You'll have your tabs up here, which will show you all the different documents you're working on. Another thing about this interface is that if you come over here on the left to the toolbar, if you wanted to go into a double toolbar, you just grab this and pull it. And you can basically do the same thing with all your panels. You can even take panels and you can move them to wherever you want on the interface. But for I'm going to delete these. For myself, I'm just going to leave this as a single toolbar. Now I just deleted two panels from up here. one thing about this software, as well as most other types of Adobe software, whether they were Photoshop, Illustrator, Dreamweaver, or After Effects, you have certain interfaces you can use. Right here I'm in Essentials. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset Essentials. And that brings me back to two windows that just closed. I can do the same thing right up here by coming down to Workspace, Essentials. Once I'm familiar with this software, there might be windows that I don't use that much that maybe I'm not going to have visible during the time I'm using it. So what you can do is go to Workspace, New Workspace, give it a name, whatever the workspace is you've created, and then save it. And always, like most Adobe software, if you move panels around, if I move this panel, if I move this panel over here and I move a couple of panels, the software thinks this is where I want them. So if I close out of the program and reopen it later, all these panels are going to be in the same place that I left them because the software thinks that's what you want. So again, what you do is go up to Window, Workspaces, and do Reset whatever workspace you were using. And it'll bring it right back to basically what you'd call a pristine condition. What I'm going to do now is import the files that are in the project from week 1. The folder is in the week 1 announcements. So I'm just going to come down here, go to Import, Import to Library. Make sure I have options. You see how everything's grayed out. I'm going to come down to All Files. Select them all and do Open. Now come up here to the library, right next to the properties, and I have my pictures that I need for the assignment. And I can just drag it right to the stage. Although that's a little too big. I would need to go back to the properties and adjust my panel, which I really didn't do. So hope that helps. Thanks. Bye.